Hi there and welcome to Hyundai Power Products. My name is Adrian and today we're going to look at this HYC2400E electric chainsaw. So what we're going to do is lay the contents out on the table so you can see exactly what you get. Then we're going to walk you through the assembly of it and a few safety tips along the way. One thing I will say before we start, and it does say here on the top of the box, chainsaw safety kit must be worn when using this equipment. Only to be used by trained, experienced operators. So I've laid the contents out on the table here. First of all, we have the chainsaw unit itself with its power cord. We have the chain bar, the protective cover, the chain in this bag here. I will be wearing gloves when handling the chain. And finally, we have the user manual. Now I do recommend that you read the user manual thoroughly before use. And that's the contents of your packaging. So we're not going to plug anything in at this stage, so we're totally disconnected, and we're going to fit the chain bar and probably put the protective sleeve on as well. So our first step is going to be to remove this cover to give us access. So we'll turn it anti-clockwise. And there we are. That's the cover removed. So our chain bar and chain is going to fit in this area. So when we fit the chain bar, you'll see it's got two sides. The side with the metal plate on is going to sit in this area here. Okay, so we've got the bar the right way up on the chainsaw. So I'm just going to lay that on the table, and we're going to put the chain onto the chain bar in such a way that its direction of rotation is correct. So we'll look at that next. And now we need to put the chain on the right way round. So it's a circular chain, as you can see, and it could go on that way round or this way round. Now this is important to get it the right way round. So I will give you a close-up of this, but you can see the shape of this silver tooth, and on the bar here is that silver tooth shown as a little black detail here. So I've just placed the chain loosely in position, and as you can see, the shape here matches the shape of that silver tooth, and the chain will be revolving this way. So that is the correct orientation. Now what I can do is just lay the chain into the grooves in the bar all the way along. I'm wearing gloves, as you can see, because the chain will be very sharp. Okay, so I've got the chain now. Okay, I'm holding the chain with the glove. I'm just going to loop the chain around the gear there, drop it down into position, and it should just sit there, located, ready. So with that located, I'm going to put the cover back on and just do this chain up. Just loosely to start with. I've rested the end of the chain and the bar on this piece of wood, and the reason for that is because the bar can move up and down slightly. I'll demonstrate. Yeah, we want it in the up position, which is against the force of cut direction, which will be the underside. So we've got the bar orientated up on its slack slightly, and as you can see, the chain is very slack. As I do up the lock, you can see the chain coming up into the groove, and I'm just going to keep turning. And it will physically stop. There we are. I can't turn that anymore. And the chain is just about right there. That's about the right tension, so you can pull it out just about there, and it's done. During the first uses, or certainly the first 15 minutes of use, you may have to readjust the chain on several occasions. It will have an initial stretch and become loose, so you need to keep a close eye on that. As it comes loose, we need to stop operation, unplug from the mains, and to tighten up, we don't just continue turning this, we slacken the whole thing back off again to the loose position, as you can see, and then we redo the tensioning process. So you may have to do that 2 or 3 times during the initial use of the machine, but once it's done its initial stretch of the chain, it should last a fair while before you need to readjust. So now that the chain and bar are fitted and the chain adjusted correctly, I'm just going to put the protective cover on to protect myself while I demonstrate the rest of the features on your machine. So next part of the procedure to set it up ready for use would be to put chain lubricating oil in the reservoir here. Normal sort of engine oil and stuff like that will not work. Well, it would work, but it would be dreadfully messy. You need to put proper chain lubricating oil in this reservoir. So you unscrew the cap anti-clockwise, fill from the top. There's a sight glass on the side so you can see when it's full, and obviously you can see when you need to add more oil as well. So a loop of cable, 6 inches or so back. I'll feed that cable through that hole, in like that, over the top of that latch, and just pull it into the groove. So that's the cable strain relief done, so that if we pull on the cable at all with the machine, it's not going to put excess pressure on the entry point of the cable into the machine, and all the strain is on the cable itself. This lever on the front here is the emergency brake. Chain brake it's called on a petrol saw, but it's the emergency brake. If the saw digs in or kicks back, I'll just switch that brake off a moment. If it kicks back during use, the natural reaction is the back of the arm and hand will hit this and switch the brake on, which will cut the power to the chain. Whenever this brake is forward, the trigger mechanism will not do anything. The motor will not start. So when you're transporting the machine, moving it around, not using it, and after a cut, always put this brake on, and then if you inadvertently pull the trigger because you're carrying it around or trip or something like that, it can't start up when that's pushed forward. So we would need to pull this back and then pull the trigger to start the machine. So the trigger itself has a button here and a trigger, as you'd expect on most power tools. Pull the button in, pull the trigger. Again, it would not start with this forward. So I've pushed the interlock forward and you can see the light here in the center. If I pull the trigger now, and I am plugged in and switch on at the mains, nothing will start. Okay, when I pull back the safety lock, you'll see a yellow light. It's yellowy green, but mostly yellow. That means that it's ready for use and that the brake is off, so that it's armed. So if that light is on, it's in an unsafe condition and could start when you pull the trigger. So if I pull the trigger now, the saw will start up and you will see that light change to green. Okay? Goes from yellow to green. If it overloads it, you're working it too hard, the chain is blunt and it's generally not liking the situation, that light will go red. That's when you stop cutting and let the machine cool down and give it a break. I'm going to start the machine and then I'm going to push this brake forward just to demonstrate how it would emergency stop, and it should stop immediately. So, as you saw, it stopped immediately. So with the machine to work, you need to pull that back and pull the trigger. Do keep an eye on that chain tension during the first uses of the machine, because it can come loose and it will stretch this chain. So obviously go through the process of chain tensioning as I showed you earlier. So now that your chainsaw is ready to use, can I just stipulate again that you should be wearing the correct PPE for using a chainsaw. So that's the full outfit, the helmet, the ear protection, the face visor, goggles, suitable upper body protection, chainsaw gloves, ideally some chainsaw chaps, something like that, and certainly appropriate footwear as well, just to protect yourself while using a chainsaw. It is a very dangerous piece of equipment and things can get nasty very quickly. So that said, get some training as well if you're not already a proficient, trained chainsaw operator. Well, I do hope you found this demonstration useful. For more information on this or any of our other products, visit www.hyundaipowerproducts.co.uk. I've been Adrian, and thank you for watching.